9:30. I'd like to call to order the regular December meeting of the Monroe County Board of Education. Each of our meetings, we welcome our visitors who are with us and the home folks who are with us too. And each of the meetings, we talk a little bit about the guiding principles from the Monroe County Board of Education. Tonight, I'd like to focus on the second one under Monroe County Board of Education. Monroe County Board of Education believes students should have access to effective instruction, co-curricular opportunities, and extracurricular activities that assist in shaping the lives of students to become successful men and women in a global society. Several of us have had the opportunity this month to attend the state meeting of the Georgia School Boards Association. And I think you'll be hearing a little bit more about that later in the meeting. But there were a number of interesting presentations. One of the most interesting to me was on Friday when a speaker talked about communication between the generations and how what one person says might not be understood the same way by someone else. And when you look at this guiding principle, it says, believe students should have access to effective instruction. And it's hard to get effective instruction if you're not communicating with each other. And there's a difference definitely between the generations on what words mean and how they communicate. Tonight, we are marking the last board meeting of someone who has served 30 years as a member of the Monroe County Board of Education. When he first came on the Board of Education, there were members of the greatest generation still on the board. We've worked through the baby boomers and Generation X and Y, whatever they call all the new ones. There are about 10 names for the different generations now. But the importance of communicating has been the same. And as we say goodbye to Mr. Howard tonight, we want to thank him for his efforts at communicating with all the people in Monroe County, with communicating on the different levels that were needed for different members of the community, for his forward thinking, for his dedication, and for his 30 years of service. Will you stand with me for the invocation? Dear Lord, as we gather together here, we ask your blessings upon each person here. We thank you for the opportunity that we have to serve the people and especially the children of Monroe County. We ask that you be with the board members, guide our thoughts, our words, and our decisions. At this time of year, when we're opening gifts from friends and relatives and loved ones, help us to remember the greatest gift, the gift of your love and the gift of your Son. Help us to enter into the new year with servant hearts as we serve the people and especially the children of Monroe County. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. And one of the board members, Dr. Hickman, has requested that we revisit a little discussion on one of our policies. Where would you like to put that on the agenda?
If it deals with policies, we usually do that in strategic objective number 2, so we can do it D under SO2.
All right.
Move to approve with change.
All right. So we added D, and it's a policy discussion.
Board policy.
Board policy discussion. It's number D. We have a motion, Mr. Head, Second, Ms. Bilderback. Is there any discussion of that? If not, all approve the addition, modification of our agenda. Let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Let it be shown that there are 6 board members present at the current time, and the vote was unanimous. All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. The November 8th, 2022 board minutes are found starting on page 11. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Head, second, Ms. Battle. Any discussion, any corrections or additions? All in favor of the minutes being approved as presented, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous with 6 votes.
601.
6 of, 1 absent. All right, the next item on the agenda, on page 18, you'll find fundraiser request, and on page 20, you'll find field trip request. Dr. Hickman, you want to tell us about those?
All right, we got 3 fundraiser requests, one from T.G. Scott, one from Mary Persons, one from Monroe County Achievement Center. And we'll be selling socks for Samuel at T.G. Scott. They'll be doing a golf scramble at the high school for the golf team. And the Achievement Center is gonna bring back the Fit to Achieve run in the spring. They hadn't done it in several years, and they're bringing that back. So move to approve those 3, and if we want to look at the field trips too, we got one, and I'm pulling it up for the audience. So we got one to Mary Persons High School drama. We'll be heading in February, from February 9th to the 11th to Columbus to compete in thespian conference competitions.
And I understand that's an honor. They achieved the right to participate.
Right,
in
they
that
ended up,
conference.
who told us that today? They ended up in the top 13 that they were invited, so they will actually be participating in that participation in that competition. So we're proud of them.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the fundraiser request and the field trip request.
I make that motion.
Ms. Bilderback, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Battle? All in favor of approving the fundraiser and the field trips as requested, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, let it be known that's unanimous with 7 votes, us having been joined by Dr. Goodwin. And Dr. Goodwin, we amended the agenda down under section 8, organizational effectiveness. We added a part D for policy discussion. Okay. All right. At this time, we'd like to take about a 10-minute recess. We will reconvene in the auditorium for several different awards and recognitions. So we are in recess and we'll reconvene in the auditorium.
Reach notebook.
Yeah, it's right here. It's right there.
Right there.
All right, as soon as I say my thing, I'm gonna move my notebook out of your way.
All right, and then who's first? So I go there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Dr. Finch is next.
All right.
And y'all were the me, I think, right?
And then I finish up at the end. And then I transition to you, right?
Okay. You transition after me.
I'm talking about at the end for the cognitive.
Oh, yes.
That's what
If I could have your attention, the Monroe County Board of Education will move from recess back to open session. The next item on the agenda is Georgia Reach Scholarship signing ceremony. Dr. Hickman.
Thank you, Dr. Doster. I'd like to welcome and introduce the guests that would be here tonight for the Reach Scholarship signing ceremony. The invited guests include our Monroe County Board of Education members who are down front. Ms. Alicia Elder, Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Jim Finch, Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Patricia Napier, Director of Student Services, Dr. Ephraim Yarber, Principal, Monroe County Middle School, Ms. Tracy Bennett, Counselor, Monroe County Middle School, Ms. Robin Hilton, Counselor, Monroe County Middle School, Ms. Tasha Burston, Counselor, Mary Persons High School, Ms. Holly Hamlin, Counselor, Mary Persons High School, Ms. Teresa Roller, Counselor at Mary Persons High School, and Davis Warnell and Sydney Smith from Oglethorpe Power. At this time, we thank everyone for being here to celebrate our guest, our REACH Scholar tonight. And this time I'm going to call on Dr. Finch to tell you a little bit about the REACH organization.
Thank you, Dr. Hickman. REACH Georgia was launched on February the 6th, 2012 at the Georgia Institute of Technology with the announcement of AT&T being REACH's first corporate sponsor with a donation of $250,000. The REACH Georgia Scholarship rewards students for self-accountability, promotes parent involvement, and provides motivation and support, all factors that we know are critical in student educational achievement, as noted by Governor Nathan Deal at the launch of the program. In a 2-year pilot, REACH Georgia added 5 school systems: Rabun, Douglas, Dodge, Quitman, and Bullitt counties, committed 35 students as REACH scholars, and invested $350,000 to student scholarships. Today, REACH serves 180 school systems across Georgia and more than 3,600 scholars, committing over $36 million in scholarships. REACH stands for Realizing Educational Achievement Can Happen. It is a Georgia program and is designed to provide academically promising students with the comprehensive support needed to persist through middle and high school, gain access to achieve post-secondary success. To community parents, thank you for the role that you play in such an important endeavor. An increasing number of job opportunities in Georgia require some form of post-secondary education. REACH Georgia provides Georgia's promising students with the academic, social, and financial support needed to graduate from high school, access college, achieve post-secondary success, and be prepared for the 21st century workforce. REACH Georgia focuses on increasing the number of students with access to higher education and ensuring that these students graduate with relevant post-secondary degrees in a timely manner. REACH has also partnered with Georgia's Department of Family and Children's Services to pilot an annual enrollment to foster youth across Georgia. REACH is approaching its goal of having all 180 school systems to become participating school systems and to serve more than 3,000 scholars. Monroe County Schools became a REACH Georgia partner in 2018. Today, we're excited to add our newest member to the Monroe County Schools REACH Georgia Scholar to our list of outstanding students. And at this time, I will call on Dr. Ephraim Yarber to come up and make remarks about our awarding student. Thank you.
Good evening. Shandy Lasser is our 2022-2023 REACH Scholar winner. As we induct our new REACH Scholar, Shandy Lasser, we are in essence celebrating her success. Shandy is an incredible student who is destined for greatness. I'm excited about what the future will hold for her, but today I'm most excited about what the REACH Scholarship will add to her academic career. When we support others, we pay forward the support they will ultimately give to someone else. All of us have received a helping hand that propelled us into our current successes and destiny. I anticipate the seed that is on behalf of Shandy will take root, and one day soon our community and our world will reap the harvest of her academic achievements. Ms. Swafford, Shandy's language arts teacher, says, Shandy is very sweet, bubbly young lady. She works very hard to complete all of her school tasks and assignments and is very conscientious about making up work and completing assignments when she knows that she will be absent. Shandy is always smiling and friendly and is a pleasure to teach. Mr. Ridley, Shandy's Georgia history teacher, says, Shandy is a great student with a positive attitude and great work ethic. She wants to do well in class and always greets me with a high five. Finally, Mr. McCoy, Shandy's physical science teacher, says, Shandy is a hard-working, inquisitive student who takes pride in her work and always puts forth her best effort. She is willing to help out in any capacity in the classroom, helps other students who sometimes struggle, and isn't afraid to ask questions in pursuit of excellence. I am very proud of her achieving this accomplishment and know she has wonderful things in store for her in the future. Shandy Lasser, we would like to congratulate you on a job well done, and we wish you the best in all of your future endeavors.
All right, Shandy, if you would like to come to this table, please, with your parents. At this time, we will induct the REACH class of 2027. REACH Scholar, I would like to walk you through your obligations and your responsibilities. The contract that you are about to sign requires that you keep an overall 2.5 grade point average, that you have good attendance, that you have good behavior and remain drug and crime-free, that you meet with your assigned mentor weekly, that you meet with your assigned academic coach at least once each month, that you attend REACH events, meetings, and programs, that you engage in activities to prepare for college, that you graduate from high school with a diploma, and that you enroll and graduate from Georgia Hope-eligible post-secondary institution. Before you sign, I would like for you to signify by stating, I will, as I administer the following charges. Will you commit to keeping good grades, attendance and behavior, meeting with your mentor and academic coach, and graduating from high school and college? Okay. To our REACH parents and guardians, Shandy's parents, will you commit to supporting your child as he or she progresses through the program? Will you also commit to attending REACH events, meetings, and programs, and contacting your child's academic coach or counselor if there are issues you believe should be addressed? Please signify by stating, I will. And to our community members, it is incumbent upon us individually and as a community to affirm our willingness to support these REACH scholars in their journey to adulthood. Will you commit to supporting our REACH scholar with your time, talents, and treasures as they progress through the REACH program and into college and their career? Please signify by stating, I will. Now it is time for you, Shandy, to sign your document and for your parents to sign the document.
All right, congratulations. Just wanted to mention that Mary Persons had its first REACH Scholars to graduate in 2022, so we're looking for big things from that cohort of students. We're extremely proud of Shandy Lasser and we look forward to your continued success this year in high school and in college. As we work to provide more opportunities for our students, we are indeed thankful for the REACH scholarships and the help that they provide for deserving students wanting to continue to learn, grow, and succeed. Let's have the Board of Education come up and take a picture with Shandy and her parents, and then we'll move on to the next recognition on the agenda. All right, we're going to move on to the next recognition. At this time, I'm going to call on Miss Elder, who will come up and introduce our next presenter.
Good evening. Cognia defines continuous improvement as an embedded behavior rooted in an institution's culture that constantly focuses on conditions, processes, and practices to improve teaching and learning. Every institution must be empowered to map out and embrace their unique improvement journey. And every 5 to 6 years, the improvement journey is evaluated by a highly skilled and trained engagement review team. If you remember, our school system was evaluated almost a year ago. It was January 30th through February 2nd, and we received an incredible score. The average score of all institutions received the past 5 years fell between 278 to 283. Our school system scored 372.9, and is a testament to the hard work and commitment of our students, staff, administrators, community, and our Board of Education. So this evening, we are honored to have Terry Johnson from Cognia here with us to present our district with a very special award, and Terry is the director of the Southeast region for Cognia. And I also want to call up J.D. Harden. He is the director of advocacy for Cognia.
Thank you for inviting us to be here tonight. This is a very special occasion. As you heard, the scores for your system very impressive, and that is a community effort. So this is a great time to be able to present this evening while you are here as well. I would like to take an opportunity to share some of the words from our visiting team so that you can hear what they found. You had a high-level team, a very credible team that they're a tough team. I've worked with these team members before, and very impressive score. So let me read this to you so that I can share. The Accreditation Engagement Review Team identified several themes from the review that support the continuous improvement process for Monroe County schools. These themes present strengths and opportunities to guide the improvement journey. Monroe County Schools engages in a continuous improvement process that produces evidence and growth, including measurable results of improving student learning and professional practice through collaboration and collegiality. At the core of any successful improvement process, it is essential to build mechanisms for multiple layers of professional learning and professional structures that promote collaboration. The leadership in this system has, over time, mastered this process to establish multiple advisory factors to facilitate a network for conversing, managing, monitoring, and adjusting the goals of this school system for improvement in organizational effectiveness. The system implements a quality assurance process that continuously assesses its programs and organizational conditions to improve student learning and organizational effectiveness. The review team highlighted the Plan, Do, Check, Act continuous improvement process used by leadership teams, board members, and employees to provide and protect quality assurances within and across all systems. This model is a living process that requires ongoing evaluation, communication, collaboration for continuous improvement. An important part of this process is the inclusion of the board to support the process with any necessary policies, funding. This model is not a top-down approach. It's rather inclusive of all stakeholders and is dependent on monitoring, evaluating, and adjusting at the system level based on individual school practices and outcomes. It requires two-way communication and collaboration that leads to feedback and eventual adjustments in classrooms and departments. Monroe County Schools has in place multiple sources to routinely gather people, ideas, feedback, and implement this through team meetings, department and cabinet meetings, central office, gathering survey data, making this a living process. The team recognized Monroe County community for an enlightening professional experience as it learned of the system's commitment to excellence and the unified effort and determination ingrained in leadership, board, and staff in every aspect of the work completed in this system. Preserving and protecting the high quality of quality assurance that defines Monroe County Schools became the team's focus during this accreditation review. The system's capacity for continuous improvement is indeed an educational hallmark. The team applauds the many accomplishments from the past and those moving into the future. So at this time, I am honored to present the Cognia Distinguished Systems Award to the Monroe County Schools and its community. Congratulations.
Next on our agenda are Samuel Hubbard Elementary School 2022-2023 student and staff recognitions, followed by staff years of service. Dr. Hickman?
All right. This time I'd like to call on Dr. McCord to come up, and we're going to present her student staff awards, and then we'll move to the service awards. Well, you just kind of explain what they did real quick.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. The first group that we are recognizing tonight are our School Safety Patrol. These students are instrumental in helping our pre-K and kindergarten students get to class each morning. They walk with them, they get them out of the cars, they take them to their classes, they help them get settled in the mornings. They do a wonderful job. So we are now on our second round of Safety Patrol students, and we will continue to have the new groups each 9 weeks. So we'll start with Ava Kell. If you all will just stay standing until we get everyone called. Brooks Allen. Levi Grizzard. Madison Smith. Kanan Reynolds. Cadence Nooks. Scott Benford. Evan Spear. And Sydney Norris.
Can I get a picture with him? Okay.
Okay. Next, we will have our staff recognitions. Again, if you would please stay standing. The first one is Ms. Sheila Cox. Ms. Cox is over our after-school child care program. She took on this initiative after one of our other employees retired. She has done an amazing job running the program. Our enrollment has increased, and she is bringing in the money. Next, Ms. Barbara Dutton. Come on up, Ms. Dutton. Ms. Dutton goes above and beyond. She is outside every morning, cold, hot. She opens car doors for kids to get out. She's always lending a helping hand, never complains, and she always has a smile on her face. So thank you so much to these two ladies for all that they do for Hubbard.
You want to call them up first, and then we'll take a picture of them?
Yes. Let's go ahead and do them, and then we'll do the next group. All right, now at this time, I'll have Ms. Amanda Bice come up, and she is with GISTIC.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I am the Executive Director of the Georgia Youth Science and Technology Centers. We are a nonprofit organization located across the state, but we're headquartered at Kennesaw State University. I'm smiling and waving at Dr. Doster because she served on a regional board at Gordon State College for the center that was there. Tonight, I am delighted to tell you a little bit about our organization. We create interest and enthusiasm in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, those STEM subjects. And one of the best parts of my job is that we host an annual competition to recognize the top STEM educators in the state of Georgia. This is a competition that is open to all teachers across the state, kindergarten through 8th grade, in any subject related to STEM, including ag and computer science. In 2022, we had a very competitive year, and we had 23 awardees. Of those 23, 2 ended up being from Hubbard. So I think that says a lot about the culture. I've already heard about your cognitive scores. It says a lot about the culture of Monroe County schools, and maybe it doesn't hurt that your superintendent was a former science teacher, I think I recall, but about the culture that you have at Hubbard and with focusing on STEM. It's really important. What we look for, teachers have to be nominated, they have to submit an application, they have to submit a lesson, it's reviewed by a state committee, and the teacher receives $500 to STEMify their room, as well as an additional certificate and award. And so the awards will be presented tonight to your 2 teachers. The first one is, I have to read my readers, Morgan Long Izell. Congratulations. And your second STEM scholar out of 23 in the state, I'll say that again, is Brandy Sims.
All right, next we're looking at service awards for Hubbard Elementary, and Dr. McCord and Dr. Doster will help me here. Service awards in Monroe County schools are awarded to employees with continuous completed service to the system in 5-year increments. These awards are based on the last hire entered into the school system. The Monroe County Board of Education and Administration appreciates the commitment, dedication, and loyalty of the following employees from Samuel Hubbard Elementary School. Our school system recognizes the importance of excellent service from quality people in the overall success of our student population. Tonight's recognition includes 190 years of completed service from 17 employees. Thanks to each of you for all you do to ensure that Monroe County school system continues to be one of the top performing school systems in the state of Georgia. As we call your name, please come up and accept your certificate and pen. We'd ask that you remain up front until all recipients from your school have been recognized and the group photograph taken. Again, thank you so much for your dedicated service. 5 years of service, April Arp. 5 years of service, Christy Bullard. 5 years of service, Melanie Cargill. 5 years of service, Ronna DeMichael. 5 years of service, Elizabeth Selman. 5 years of service, Amanda Webb. 10 years of service, Dr. Kimberly Harris. 10 years of service, Tabitha Kump. 10 years of service, Jennifer Lofton. 10 years of service, Krista Schaus. 10 years of service, Sally Spear. 15 years of service, Mildred Avery. 15 years of service, Betsy Ford. 15 years of service, Rebecca Wachtel. 20 years of service, Sharita Brown. 20 years of service, Bobby Gray. 25 years of service, Mary Johnson. Come on down.
All right, next, student staff recognitions from Monroe County Achievement Center. Dr. Hickman?
All right, at this time I'm going to call on Ms. Sarah Alford, principal at the Achievement Center, to come up and present the awards for staff and students at the Achievement Center.
Thank you. William Wyatt, please step forward. Just stand right there, please, sir. Just stand there for just a second. Have them look at your beautiful smiling face for just a second. Okay. Please allow me to introduce you to William Wyatt. Will is a senior at Monroe County Achievement Center. He's attended MCAC since his freshman year. He chose to attend MCAC for all 4 years of high school. And when I asked him why, he said how he liked how classes were smaller and everyone was located kind of, and that his teachers knew him very well. Will is being recognized today because he is a model student and leader at MCAC. He serves on the student leadership team, and he is the company commander of his ROTC unit. He is an accomplished third-tier black belt, and he's also shown leadership in martial arts by being an instructor to younger students. He is also a superb baritone singer. Earlier today, I asked if there was anything that he did not do, because it seems like he does it all. Will, I also asked your teachers to share their thoughts. Mrs. Pippin said, Will is an exceptional student leader who's a leader among his peers. He is a high achiever who sets goals for himself in his academic and extracurricular activities and works diligently to meet those goals. Ms. Love Tucker says, Will is a welcome presence in class due to his insightful and in-depth knowledge and analysis. He is an outside-of-the-box thinker and often offers a different perspective. And finally, Dr. Boland said, Will Wyatt is so deserving of this recognition as he truly embodies our mission and vision here at MCAC. We strive to maximize every student's effort, character, and potential, and we strive to empower them to take ownership of their education and achieve their own greatest potential. Will Wyatt has done just that with integrity and poise. In the classroom and out, he leads by example and takes on challenges as they come with grit and determination. His old soul wisdom and witty humor make him a welcomed and treasured addition to our student body. Great things are ahead for Wyatt, and I'm excited to see where the opportunities will take him. Will, it's my pleasure to recognize you today. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing what the future holds for you.
Periodically, the Monroe County Board of Education recognizes someone who has made significant contributions to education in Monroe County. And now Dr. Hickman is going to present our Friend of Education Award.
All right. Sad night, but a proud night to be able to present this Friend of Education. 30 years ago, Zell Miller was Georgia's governor. George Bush, that's H.W., the first one, was president. Charles Dumas was superintendent of schools, and Nolan Howard received a call from a Monroe County grand jury. We're appointing you to serve on the Board of Education, the caller said. In July of 1992, he became the last board member to be appointed rather than elected. Subsequently elected 7 more times, his 30 years as a board member is second only to the late J.P. Evans' 43-year tenure. Mr. Howard also served multiple terms as vice chairman and a term as chairman of the board. Before taking his seat on the board, Mr. Howard served as a Monroe County commissioner. He has worked closely with the Forsyth Monroe County Chamber of Commerce, the Monroe County Historical Society, and recently was on the planning committee for the Monroe County's bicentennial celebration. But his service to the school system extends even further. After graduation from Mary Persons, the University of Georgia and Georgia College, he came back to Forsyth and taught at Mary Persons. He was part of the crew that recorded play-by-play for the next day broadcast of Bulldog football games. And in 1978, he started keeping sideline statistics for the Bulldogs. In that 44 years, you can count the games he's missed on one hand. Mr. Howard's LinkedIn profile carries this quote: "I believe that the most important thing we as adults can do for the subsequent generations is provide them with the ability to think critically and be prepared for life as an adult." This belief has guided his decision-making on the Board of Education for Monroe County. So tonight, we are honored to recognize Nolan Howard as a true friend of education, not only for his service on the Board of Education, but for his dedication to the students and staff of the school system and to the community. Mr. Howard, as you leave the board at the end of the year, please know the influence of your leadership will remain for years to come. Congratulations, Nolan. Come up.
I really appreciate this. It's an honor, more than you'll ever know. I got to looking at my phone, and I actually am young enough or technologically advanced enough to keep up with my calendar as to what's going on. Well, just yesterday, I was looking at December. I swiped to the left. I looked at January. It was empty. I haven't seen that in a long time. And it's a void that I shall enjoy. I've enjoyed serving up here, serving with the board for these years. As Dr. Hickman mentioned, I got on the board as a result of grand jury, I guess you would call it an appointment or selection. And probably one of the last in the state that Monroe County used to have an appointed board. We were a handful of counties that allowed that. We had an elected superintendent appointed board. In 1993, there was a referendum that went through statewide and made all of the boards of education uniform. As I was being interviewed by the grand jury, I made the comment. I said, "Look, it's 1992." I said, my younger daughter is not going to graduate until the year 2008. And there was a lot of chuckles. You know, boy, that's a long time away. Well, that's a long time ago now. So, and as when I got on the grand jury, there was still teachers. A lot of my ex-teachers were either doing one or two things. They were either rolling their eyes or they were rolling in the grave. Because I was not a very good student academically, and I was even worse discipline-wise. I like to say that I had quite a few teachers that would rather I had slept than stay awake. So, but as I became a teacher, I took a little bit different approach towards things. I would like to thank my family. My two daughters are here. The noisy one is in the back there. That's she's 18 months old now. She loves life. And I've got my other three grandchildren who I love to death. I got a son-in-law here, and most particularly Penny, my wife. Thank you.
If I get the family to come up and take a picture with Noah.
I declare the Board of Education to be in recess for 10 minutes, and we will reconvene in the boardroom. Thank you all for being here.
You hadn't eaten any cake or nothing?
I got some kids at home for me.
It's 6:37, and we will come out of recess and go back into open session.
Is she doing?
She said okay.
Okay, all right, good.
The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. It's after page 33. Dr. Hickman, what good news do you have to share with us today?
All right, this is a living document, and so every month we add to it. I think I've highlighted in your book, and for people in the audience, I've added to the different areas of our strategic objectives where we've got good news to share. So the first one is, first bulleted point that's highlighted is we were the recipient of the College and Career Academy grant for $3.1 million through Technical College System of Georgia. You know, we've been working on that a long time, and that came to fruition, and it was through a lot of efforts. And we're so very proud to get that money and actually begin the process of putting together a board. We're doing that now, and then we're meeting with architects soon about how that and the annex will work together. So we hope to be able to bring you some plans. We're talking to you tonight about bonds and what we need to do to get that started. So we're ready to roll, and it's a good time. Hubbard Elementary School's Techno Tigers won first place at the regional robotics competition and are moving on to the super regional competition. That happened this past weekend, so they did wonderful. Monroe County Middle School's Coding Canines won the Champions Award, and the Robo Dogs won the Core Values Award at the regional First Lego Leagues robotics competition. The Coding Canines will advance to super regionals. And the one-act play was selected to showcase at the 2023 Georgia Thespians Conference, and you approved their trip moments ago. All right. Well, this thing's locked up on me, Josh. I guess I can get down here to the 33. All right. All right, I'm going to strategic objective 3, and toward the bottom, Jenny Rooks was nominated by Dr. Gary McGivney for an outstanding leadership award from the Georgia Association for Positive Behavioral Supports and Interventions, Georgia PBS, and that we do PBIS in Monroe County is like people come from all over in different counties to see how we do that, and she is the leader for that. And we're proud of her for being nominated for that award. And Katie Sutton Parade Float won Best Use of Lights in the Hometown Holidays Parade. And I've got to add, I was reminded that the Hubbard won Best of Show, Hubbard Elementary. And so thanks to the schools and even people on the board that provided a float, I think that was wonderful, and the community really enjoyed that. And it's a lot of work, but it sure was a beautiful parade. So thank everyone for participating in that.
Anybody have any questions about the superintendent's report?
And those are just new things. And if you need to access this, and if you're sharing it at an organization or somebody asks you a little bit about, to tell about Monroe County Schools, you can refer back to this running total we got here.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hickman. The next item on the agenda, the organizational effectiveness, is our financial report. Mr. Johnson, what kind of news do you have for us today?
Got good news.
We like good news.
I guess you can see the financial reports in your packet. Our percentages are pretty much where they need to be this time of the year. One thing I will say, next month in December, the local revenue amount will be more than double what you see now. Because we received a $6.8 million check from the tax commissioner last Friday. And that will be recorded in December, and we should get another set of checks before the end of this month. They usually call us, and we actually come up here during the break, get those checks and take it to the bank. Make sure it's secure. The second page is our capital projects. Our SPLOST continues to be strong. For November, it was a little over $630,000. So it's running over 600 for the last 8 months or so. So that's another good thing. And then the last page is our federal funds. Just a reminder that those are, you know, we spend first and get reimbursed second. And that's what I've got for a financial report. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Chris.
I don't see any questions for the board, so thank you. All right, facilities and grants, Finch, on page 40, board.
Thank you, Dr. Doster. If you'll see the two documents that are in there, first from facilities, you can read up on the documents in there on your own, so I won't belabor that. The one highlight I will mention is the completion of the concession stand and restroom area that's over here in the stadium. It's drawing to a close, and we're waiting on the main switch gear, which provides and manages the power to that facility, and that's going to arrive in January, and so we anticipate the final walkthrough to occur soon after that, and a certificate of occupancy to occur after that installation.
And I hope you'll take the board on a
Yeah,
tour.
we'll plan maybe for next time, and we'll tell Roger either before or after the meeting just to walk through so y'all can see it and see what it looks like inside and see the restrooms.
All right, moving over into grants. This will be the final update on the College and Career Academy grant. As you're already aware, Monroe County Schools was one of 2 systems in the state to receive the $3.1 million grant to construct our new CCA. And that grant was officially approved and awarded on December 1st. Any questions?
Just want to add, and I should have put this on there, there are 2 other grants that we're working to get. One is a technology grant for $100,000. We'll add this to it, and Mr. Griffiths is working on that. That is provided by Department of Education. And there's a $50,000 safety grant that's just been offered like this past month or 2, and we've already filled out the application, and I think we're looking good to be able to get that money, and we targeted it for keyless access, and we're looking at doing T.G. Scott next on the keyless entry. And so it's just important to keep filling out these applications for money that the Department of Education and the state are giving. So we'll add this. Dr. Finch, it's my fault, I should put it on here, but we just fill out the applications. But I wanted y'all to know that.
So we're going to need some.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that we upgrade. We may even know if we've got the money by then. So hopefully I've been told that if we fill it out and turn it in and we've got the bids, that we probably would get it. So I'm confident we will. Sorry, Dr. Finch.
No, that's good.
The people of Monroe County saw fit to approve the East Blocks to continue our education special purpose local option sales tax. And I know we have big plans for it. Can you talk to us a little bit about the bonding?
Yes, ma'am. Well, first of all, there's a resolution in there that declares the results, and as the board, you are here to certify those results. And so Superintendent of Elections, Kay Warren, has already signed off certifying on her end, and this resolution will become a part of the bond issue that we'll talk about next. And this process needs to be a part of the minutes of the documentation of the certification process. We have
We adopt this resolution.
some items in there that you all have to sign.
All right, have members of the board have an opportunity to read over the resolution on page 43 through 45 in your folder. The board needs to formally adopt that so it can be referred to in the minutes. So the chair will accept a motion to approve the resolution declaring results of the sales and use tax referendum.
Motion to approve.
All right,
Second.
Mr. Pippin. And second, Mr. Head. Is there any discussion, any questions you want to ask Dr. Finch about it?
It's got the result, the vote results are in that thing that's in your notebook.
The number of votes cast, the
Yep.
number of votes for and against. That's what you're certifying, that was in fact what the accurate total was. All right, here no questions or comments. All in favor of approving the resolution as presented in our packet, the resolution declaring results of the sales and use tax referendum. Let me know by raising your hand. That's unanimous.
All right, well, we'll move into the second section of this, which is the bond resolution piece. And basically what this does is it gets the ball started on the funding piece and basically the advance on funding. Raymond James Financial oversees a bond sale, which could be a portion of public and or private purchasers. And we deal with a gentleman by the name of Tom Owens, who works for Raymond James. And he says that this document that we're going to provide here for signatures from Dr. Hickman and Dr. Doster is how that bond process begins. This is about a 90-day process for the bond sale. And we're obviously not issuing any bonds tonight, but this is the process that gets that bond issuance going. And the bonding is what actually is going to produce the advancement on the money that will begin the construction for the new facilities. And then this bond is paid off by proceeds from East Bluffs.
So this bond is what will allow us to go ahead and proceed with the various projects that we listed in.
It just gives parameters for the bond as part of what you have to, as part of the process. And I will add just something, we have done private bonds before through some local banks. It may be that we have to do this publicly because of the amount, because we're bonded 25 million as opposed, lately we've probably been doing 9 or 10. And so a local bank could probably, or any bank could take that on. So it may not be that that could be the case. If it does, we'll probably open it to the public. They can still bid on it, but when you open it up, everybody can bid on it.
Right.
So, but we're hopeful that local banks can participate in that as well. But I think it's the amount sometimes is a little bit can be a problem with local banks doing it privately.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion that we proceed with the bonding. Let's see the wording exactly what's on here.
Bond issuance.
This is a bond resolution on page 49. Chair will entertain a motion that we approve the bond resolution.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Mr. Pippin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Battle. Any questions, any discussion?
And this bond going out, I know you said it's possible that local banks and others could bid on this bond. I think that's what we really want to do, is try to get some bids. I'm gonna make sure that happens, obviously. But I see there's a maximum rate of 6%, so
Right.
hopefully we can get it lower.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be lower than
So
that. Yes.
that's why the fact of bidding it out is what we should do.
Bidding it out to
It's got to
a
be done.
wider range other than just local banks is predominantly because of the size of the bond. So much greater, 2.5 times more than what we
Yeah,
normally get bonded.
We'll do it like we normally do. It's just the fact that it's a little bit larger. Sometimes they can't take on the whole amount. So if you do it publicly, they can do pieces of it.
Yeah.
Probably get a better
All right.
rate.
Yep.
Everybody, what Mr. Pippin said, we probably can get a better rate by doing it that way. Any other comments or questions or discussion? All in favor of approving the bond resolution, let it be known by raising your hand. That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you,
We'll
Dr.
be
Finch.
back with you soon to move along with that process.
All right, board members, if you remember, we added an item D, under this area of policy discussion. Dr. Goodwin, I think you were contacted by a parent, you wanted us to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, I got an email, and I think this refers back to our policy for sporting events where we had basically no reentry.
Yeah.
And we primarily talked about in the context of football and basketball, which are the biggest, but apparently that policy is being enforced, at least according to this parent, in wrestling and some other things as well. And those are much longer events. I think anybody who's been to a wrestling so her concern was that, you know, parents weren't being able to leave and come back for an event like that. And so I would think that we could discuss, maybe we need to adjust that policy to reflect the different sports and the different requirements.
What if we, those protocols that we approved, what if, and that makes sense. What if we come back at the next meeting with maybe some change of language that can be inclusive of those type athletic events that run longer? That, you know, cause it could be 6 or 7 hours sometimes, depending on how many teams you had and things like that. And you're right, the general focus, we were thinking about the 2 to 3 hour span of, so, can we just work on the language, bring it back?
Are the protocols under rules or
They're
the
actually,
policy itself?
we approved it as a protocol. It's not necessarily, when you approved it, I brought it to you. It's not, you're not gonna find it in our board policy.
Okay, so then it can be amended at a board meeting without having to sit on the
Yes,
table for
ma'am.
30 days.
It's just,
So we can address it.
I had you approve that protocol because I knew if there were any issues that come from it, that you'd be the first one to find out, so I wanted you to be on the input of approving it that way. So we can just bring it back, maybe change the language, and y'all look at it, we'll approve it, and, move forward with seeing what we can do. The only thing is we made all those signs, but we'll do something. But I do understand your.
And unintended consequences.
In the meantime, can we just kind of inform the people at the gates or doors,
We'll
just say, use some discretion for now? And
We'll tell Dr. Finch, if you'll just get in touch with, Robert Lindsay, and just let him know if there's a situation where, especially, and I can't think of any going on right now, situations where it's gonna be a longer period of time, where you're getting into the 4 and 5 hour period of time, that they have the discretion to allow folks to leave maybe with some type of stamp or something. I don't know, can you speak to that in your situation as being a former principal at high school?
I mean, the events that we had, you know, unless it was, the only thing we really held athletically that was longer than a 2 or 3 hour event was you know, a holiday wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
But typically, if we just held a dual match or a tri-match, it usually stayed within a 2 hour limit or something like that, and so there wasn't any pass outs from there. But if you're hosting an all-day tournament, I can see where, you know, there would be a pass out.
We'll make sure they know and deal with that, and then bring that language back.
So we just instruct the
Yeah.
administration to.
And the same thing could occur, you know, we have a holiday basketball tournament.
Yeah, same thing can happen.
So
I think we're hosting that too,
we're hosting one of those, so.
so that'll work for that too.
All right.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is ensuring student stakeholder engagement and loyalty. Do we have any requests for public participation? We do not. So the next item on the agenda is the calendar recommendation for 2023, 2024. If you look on page 60 in your notebook, board members, Dr. Hickman, tell us about the calendar.
All right, you should also have some, data in there, and the data is for the votes that we got for the 4 different calendars. And you can see that the closest vote was between calendar B and calendar D. And calendar D ended up with the most votes, 321 to 274 over B. They were very similar, if you remember. Calendar D just gave you a little more time at Christmas than calendar B. So, and I'd like to thank Carrie for the survey and the input that we got. I think that was good. We had 876 votes on a school calendar. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So normally what I do, I mean, if we put it out there and get the input from the different stakeholders, I'm gonna go with what they vote. So I am recommending calendar D, and I'm pulling it up to go over real quick so y'all know what that generally means. So calendar D has a 4-day pre-planning from July 26th to July 31st. School would start on a Tuesday, and then we would be out for holidays on Labor Day, September 4th. Week-long fall break, October 9th through the 13th.
Everybody likes that fall break.
They do.
It's a week long.
Everybody that I've talked to,
They want it.
they want a week-long Thanksgiving, and they like their fall break. Then you got Thanksgiving, is the fourth week, obviously, of November. Then if you'll notice, we finish up, we only go 2 days, the 18th and 19th, and we start Christmas holidays a little bit sooner. And then we will come back. Kids will come back on a Friday, after break on a 5th. We'll have 2 in-service days. And actually, it runs through the 2nd, which there's a lot of things, it's hard for us to turn around and come right back on the 2nd, which I like that too. And then you've got Martin Luther King holiday, you've got winter break, which is President's Day. And then we actually put a in-service day there on a Tuesday so that the kids and families could have a 4-day weekend around that time. And then our April, the first week in April for spring break is April 1st through the 5th. And then we would finish school on the 21st. And then we would have our final 3 days of post-planning, and then the kids would graduate on May 24th, and everything be done before Memorial Day.
Dr. Hickman, one question. Do we usually have a 4-day or a 5-day tip program?
We've done, well, for pre-planning tip, we do 3 days.
Okay, so you got a Monday to Tuesday, so would it just start on Friday?
We'll probably do it the week before.
The whole week before?
Probably.
So it wouldn't really have any effect on tip, because it normally is the week before.
Yeah, we've done it different ways. That we used to take tip 3 days, and we did 2 days of best practices.
Right.
We've taken some feedback, and sometimes we've done tip and do 1 day, because 5 days kind of wears our new folks out. So depending on what we plan for next year, probably 4 days worth of pre-planning, not pre-planning, but 4 days of prep for new folks week before, which would be the 17th through the 21st.
Which would give them a long weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we've got. They don't want it to all be scrambled up all at one time, and so we've tried to work, and we get that second day maybe later in the year, or do it some other way instead of doing it that Friday.
All right, board members, you've heard the recommendation of the administration that we approve calendar option D for 2023-2024. The chair will entertain a motion to approve calendar option D. Mr. Howard, and second by Dr. Goodwin.
I usually vote against them, but
You'll vote for it that time.
You ain't ever.
He
always says I'm
He doesn't have a dog against it,
but I'm not.
Yeah, what's up with that?
He doesn't have a dog
I wanna vote
against it.
against it. So.
Well, I hadn't had one
do what
teacher
you want.
told me
You
that
fix
they
her
didn't want to
Any-
start until
Any
August the
discussion?
9th. It
Doesn't
wasn't
matter to
doing
me.
as
I'm
good
not
to
gonna be
discuss
here
it,
next year.
that's my discussion. Because everybody I talked to told me they want to start August the 9th. And I have polled half the teachers at TG Scott. They said they didn't want to start August the 1st.
Okay,
So I can't vote for it.
all right.
I stand my
Mr.
ground.
Howard, I
So we
think
have a
you should vote
motion.
accordingly.
What's that?
You should vote for
He's
whatever
gonna
you
vote.
want.
We have a
This time,
motion
do
and a
whatever you want,
second
right?
that we approve calendar option D.
It's
All
Nolan
in
and
favor, let it be
Jeremy.
known by raising your hand. All opposed? The vote is 6 in favor and 1 opposed. Ms. Bilderback opposed.
I sure do.
Okay, so calendar option D, and Dr. Hickman, you'll get that
We'll
out.
send that out in the morning to everybody.
Watch, I'm getting my heart again.
All right. Ensuring high-quality professional learning. Several of us attended the Georgia School Boards Association Winter Conference. Ms. Bilderback and I attended some legal issues training the day before. It's a pre-conference workshop the day before, and that was very beneficial. And then Thursday and Friday, Dr. Hickman joined us, and we were there for the conference, except the time we had to go let them vote on the $3.1 million.
Yeah, we had to go that morning of the first day to across town, which was 17 miles, and it took us about an hour to get over there for the board meeting to be approved for the.
Well, we had a 5-minute presentation to do
Yeah.
about why we thought we deserved the
Yeah, we did.
grant. So we did our 5-minute presentation, and the other finalists did their 5-minute presentation, and then we were voted on and approved.
Yeah, Dooley County is the other county, just so y'all, if you get asked.
Ms. Bilderback, is there anything you want to mention? I mentioned one thing in my introduction about, on Friday, you want to say anything about the Wednesday or Thursday sessions?
Well, there was a principal that was given a elementary school that had an F rating, and she said that the teacher, one of the teachers was shopping, and somebody asked her what school she was at, and she told them, and they went, "Ooh, you're at that school." So she said it really brought to her mind that she needed to train her teachers with just some little sentences to come back with that would change their perception of how because if you don't believe in your school, you're not going to get the community to believe in your school. So just little things like buying parents a biscuit and her sitting down talking with them so that she could tell them, you know, her vision. And she did a mobile principal's office. She said kids, especially in elementary school, are scared to death to go to the principal's office. So she got a cart and she put a big chair and a little chair, and she would get their grades, and she went to see this little 4th grade girl, and she said, "What are your challenges for the year?" And the little girl said, "Little Tommy, I have told the teachers 4 times that he's kicking me and he's cheating off my paper, and he has told all my friends these bad things about me." And she looked at her grades, and like her math test, she started with an 80-something, then a 50-something, then a 32. She was failing just to keep little Tommy from passing because he was cheating off of her paper. But she said, "What is the key thing that you get out of this?" And I held up 4, because she asked the teacher 4 times for her help, and she said in those 4 times she lost faith in the adult that was overseeing her care. And so she had to talk to the teacher, and then she met with little Tommy and his parents, and little Tommy started a club for bullies, and he became the president so that he could train people how not to treat other people. And I thought, that didn't cost a thing. And she let the kids sit in the big chair and she sat in the little chair so that they would feel like she was on their level. And I thought, you know, how often, because I have one, and I hear how many times she has told a teacher that little Caden is kicking me or tripping me, and he waits until she kicks him back, and he saw her kicking back, and then he wanted to do something, and I'm like, "Mama got it. Mama got it." I think 4 times do we have a chance to reach, to hear these kids. You don't shut them down. They need to know that you hear them. And I thought how powerful this principal was by showing these kids, going from class to class and bringing them out in the hall instead of dragging them to the principal's office, that she showed them, "I hear you."
I think there are 4, or they're more than 4 points probably, but the 2 major points that I hear you saying, we've already touched on in different board meetings here. One is the importance of communication, which we've talked about that tonight, open communication, being around. And then the other is being aware of the situations when students report things, that we need to really be listening, which again goes back to communication about the children. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
One other thing I'd like to mention about Georgia School Boards Association Winter Conference is the Monroe County Board of Education was recognized with exemplary board status, and it was presented by the Georgia School Boards Association on Friday. And in just a few minutes, we're going to need to enter into executive session, and while we're making that transition, if you'll get a picture of all the board members with our newest trophy. We're adding to the collection. We're very proud of it. Thank you.
Good job, Alicia.
Anything you want to add about the
No, ma'am, it was a good conference. I really liked the session where they had the kids up on the stage.
Oh, they were
were sharing.
fantastic, yeah.
And they basically told their story, and they were from different counties, but they didn't tell you who they were. And then they talked with them, and then at the end, like one would be in the
Well,
band, and one was, and so you have no idea who these children were,
At
what you
first, they
told.
said, one has a black belt, one is a beekeeper, one's in the band, one is entered beauty pageants, and they had all these 10 characteristics. And like Dr. Hickman says, as they talked, we were supposed to guess at the end. You couldn't guess
So
for about half
I
of
guess
them.
the thing is, don't
Don't-
stereotype,
That's right.
because kids can do anything, and they showed us that. So that's what I got out of that.
All right, Dr. Hickman, we have a need to enter into executive session to discuss personnel alone.
Yes, ma'am.
So the chair will entertain a motion to enter into executive session for the discussion of personnel. Ms. Bilderback, is there a second?
Second.
Well, it's on Mr. Pippen's hand. All in favor of going into executive session for the discussion of personnel? Let it be known by raise your hand.
Anybody?
That's unanimous. All right? So board members, if you'll,
Did Charlie?
board
Are y'all
members,
gonna
if
Oh.
board that we
You
can
need
talk
to,
about for
Robert Dick, you remember he said that we needed to, we talked to him before about that.
That was when JP was not gonna go for it.
True.
Because he thought we.
He
But
just
I
said
bet
what-
you at
all
his
that-
job, he didn't get
All that
paid the same.
Robert
money.
did and Dale would do is
For
tell
free.
you just, they'll do it, but you gotta make sure you're
In agreement.
in agreement, because they're not gonna take that political.
They want it unanimous, but.
If you say like, you wanna move it to whatever, and then everybody doesn't agree on it, and they sign it, then there are gonna be people mad at them. So, I think they would do it if it was, everybody wanted to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
thought we were gonna.
Is it working?
We're back.
Did you pop it, did it do? How about now?
Yeah.
We're good.
All right. The Monroe County Board of Education has been in executive session for the discussion of personnel matters. And by motion, second, and unanimous vote, we return to open session. All right, Dr. Finch?
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
have recommendations from the administration regarding personnel?
Yes, ma'am. Administration recommends approval of the personnel actions as presented.
All right, that's a motion by Dr. Goodwin and a second by Ms. Bilderback that we approve the personnel recommendations as presented on the blue sheet. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let me know by raising your hand. That is unanimous. Is there any other matter that needs to come before the board before we go to reminders? All right, Dr. Hickman?
Okay, real quickly, next board meeting is January 10th. Christmas holidays are December 19th through January 1st. In-service starts, it's 2 days, January 2nd, 3rd for staff. Students return from break on Wednesday, January 4th. This week, be tomorrow, Thursday, elementary band's holiday concert at 6:30 at the Fine Arts Center. And then on Friday, we'll be hosting the Southern Gospel Christmas with Jason Ward at 7:30 in the Fine Arts Center. That's it.
Okay. And as a reminder also, all board members who stood for election this year will have to be sworn in, and we'll make arrangements to get that taken care of and be in contact with people, whether we can set it up maybe prior to the board meeting, or whether it needs to be done at the courthouse prior to January. We can be in touch about that. All right, the chair will entertain a motion. Mr. Howard, you wanna make a motion?
She has given me, relinquished her right to make this motion for one evening.
All right, so
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Howard makes a motion, we adjourn. Ms. Bilderback seconds it. All in favor,